Okay, welcome to DataWise Discovery channel, and today we are going to discuss about function.py. And if you are liking my videos about Python series, so please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. So let's start with this function. Okay, first of all, what is a function, right? Function is a piece of code that does something, right? When you call that function and it does something. Okay, let me write that definition first. Function, F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, function. Function is nothing but a block of code, which perform some specific, right? Some specific task. When it only executes its task when only we call it. Okay, whenever we call it. And there are two types of functions. The first one is user defined function and the second one is the built-in function. Okay, let me note that down also. The function are of two types, and the first one is a built-in function, right? Built-in function, and you already know the built-in function, right? You have already used print function, max. Let me give you example. Then you have already used this print function, right? And you have already used max, right? All those function you have already used, and this is known as built-in function. It comes along with Python. When you install Python, this course is already in your computer. Okay, then next one is a user defined function. In the user defined function, the name also suggests that this is defined by user, and according to his requirement, the person will write his or her function. Okay, let me go with the first. Let me go in detail about a built-in function. So okay, I'll give you some example of built-in function again. Okay, that's hello, and we have also seen about sum, right? Sum, and we have already seen about list as a function, and string, and int, and next one is max, min. All these functions are built in, and there are a lot of those functions. Okay, so we'll not go into each and everything. So this is a built-in function. Now we have also, let me do some example. Let me 2 3 4 and 5, and in order to add the elements of this list, if I want to add all these elements of the list, we can just we can build our own function also, but we have been provided with some built-in function to add all these things. So we have already seen in our list lesson that if we use this sum function and provide a as an argument, so this will add all the elements of the list. So in order to run this program, we need to write Python and give the name of the file function.py. So that's for 15, right? Okay, then we can also find the sum of this list by using for loop. Okay, let me put my sum in B. Okay, let me write it as sum in B, and I'll use for loop to conduct the same operation for I in A if we do sum plus or minus equal to I, then it will add a sum that is 0 plus I means 1 in first iteration, right? It will be 1, and in second iteration the I will hold 2, then sum is already 1 plus 2 is 3, and it will keep on adding until the elements in the loops is finished. Okay, now if we print sum, then it will give you the same answer. Okay, it will also give you 15. Okay, so I want to give you some challenge. Let me see if you have followed my previous uh, videos or not. I just want to check some basic thing. Okay, let me give you print, and let me find the maximum of -3 comma -9 and minimum of false comma 2 comma 41. Please pause this video and try to come up with your own answer. Okay, if you have done this, we have already seen that the integer value of the false is 0, right? So minimum of these two will be 0, and this all -3 -1 and 0 will be maximum will be 0, and 0 will be regarded as false, so this program will generally print you false. Okay, this is false because false is 0, right? So if false is 0, then overall value of this function will be false, and if false -3 -9, false will be regarded as 0, so false will come as a maximum. So if you have done this, great. If you have not done this also, then check try to do on your own and try to see the logic behind it. Okay, let's move on to the user defined function. In user defined function, I want to start with the syntax of the user defined function. So the syntax of the user defined function is you start with def, right? And you will give some function name and the parenthesis, and then this colon, and after this you give the for space, right? For space, and then you write your code down here. Okay, and in order to call this function, you need to give the function name and this parenthesis. In order to call this function, you need to give your function name and parenthesis. Okay, and this is known as function calling. Okay, this is also known as function calling. Let me give you some example with some toy example. Okay, abc, let me define a function as abc, and it just print I want to learn Python. Okay, so if I run this code, okay, voila, there is no it is not showing I want to learn Python, because we have not called this function, right? Unless we call this function, this will not run. Okay, so in order to call this function, what we have said is that we need to write the function name first and then give this parenthesis in order to call that function. So if we call this function, we need to get I want to learn Python. So we are getting I want to learn Python. Okay, so let me make a simple program of summation. So let me say define summation, define summation. So we'll learn about this arguments and parameter in our next lesson. This what we have passed in this parenthesis is parameter, right? Parameter, and what we are sending is known as argument. So let's not worry ourselves with this in this video. In next video we are going to discuss with regarding this with much more in detail. Okay, so we have this sum. We need to find the sum by adding these two. So in order to run this function, what we need to do is we need to, so let me write print as sum. Okay, in order to run this, in order to run the code that I have written below this function, I need to call that function. So if I write summation, so it need to give me, there is something wrong over there, so print summation, and I need to give the argument. So let me give 2 comma 4. This 2 will be sent to this A and 4 will be sent to B. This is also known as a positional argument. We'll discuss these things in our next lesson. So this will get A is 2, B is 4, so sum equal to 2 plus 4, that will be 6, and it must print you 6 in our console. Okay, there is 6. Okay, let me give you some syntax about this argument also. So let me give you the syntax for syntax, and in this syntax we need a function name, and we will pass argument in this one. Okay, and this is also known as formal arguments. Okay, this is also known as a formal argument, and we will write some code over here. Okay, we will write our code over here. Now in order to call this function, which is having the argument, we need to give normal. What we have previously done is that we need to give the function name. We need to provide the argument, right? We need to provide the argument, and this what we pass is also known as actual arguments, right? What we define in the function is known as formal argument, and what we generally pass is known as actual argument. And in the same, these things are also called as parameters, right? Function name, whatever we write inside here is known as a parameter, and what we pass is generally called as argument. You may also listen that terminologies in your coding in other videos, so you need to be aware of this fact. Okay, now let me take input from the function and try to pass in the summation function. Okay, so let me recap your memory to how to take an input from the user. So please enter, let's say please enter a number. Let me take 2 numbers. Okay, number 1, and in the next one let's me say input, let's input, please enter number 2, and let me pass that summation A comma B. So you need to it will, let me run this program first. Okay, please enter the number I passed into, please enter the number 2 I passed is 4. So it will pass this as an argument, and this A will accept 2 and B will accept 4, and it will print the sum, that is 6. Control Z. and if I run this code, it will give you 6. So let me make an simple code of multiplication table, right? Try to make your own multiplication table using the function. So after solving that problem, please come and watch this video. Okay, now let me make a multiplication table video. Let me define multiplication table video. I'll try to pass that as number, of which number you want the multiplication table of. So if you want the multiplicative table of 2, then that will be 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 3, right? If I pass num as 3, then 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, right? So that is the case. So let me do some decoration over there. So this is just for decoration, okay, decoration purpose. So let me say we are printing the multiplication table of this number. We are printing the multiplication of this number, so print f and print, and we will again do that for only decoration purpose. Okay, we'll do only, and this is only for decoration purpose, and our actual logic is for I in range, because we want the multiplicative table up to 10. Okay, for I in range 1 to 11, it will not include 11, so it will go up to 1 to 10. And I want to say print, let me provide the number as a number times this I is going to be equal to, this is going to be equal to num multiplied by I. So it will show you 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. We are using f string in order to do that, right? So what I want from the user is, I want to say, I want to take int input. Please enter, let's say enter the multiplication table you want, multiplication table you want. So we'll take the multiplication table we want. So we will also put that bracket over there. So if we pass now we need to call that function by using the function name, and we will pass it is expecting some value, right? It is expecting me to pass some values over there. So what I have got from user, I'll pass it to my multiplication table function. So I will pass multiplication, so multiplication table. Okay, it is showing me some error, so I will print, and this is only for decoration purpose. So there is some, okay, multiplication table, this is good. And if I run this program, this will show me enter the multiplication table you want. So I want the multiplication table of 2. So if I hit enter, so it will give you this I think there is some error over here. This is not this slash, so I want to do this slash. Okay, let me run this program again. Let me run this program. I want the multiplication table of 2. So if I hit the enter, so it is showing the multiplication table of 2. So 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3. So this is the case. And if I want the multiplication table of 45,000, let's say 4567. Okay, 4567. And if you hit the enter, so it will give me the multiplication table of this number. Okay, so that's it for today. Don't forget to hit and like the channel, and don't forget to comment if you have any doubt. Okay, have a nice day and cheers.